Well, hello, welcome back to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today we are talking about the elegant cottage. I'm so excited because this is, it's not a trend, it's just getting very popular lately, getting some more news out on it, right, in the interior world. And I think it's something that's it seems like a little bit of an oxymoron, because most people associate cottages with something like cottage core that's really pink and fluffy and cutesy and quaint. And then when we put the word elegant with cottage, people are like, wait a minute, what? Do those things coexist? And not only do they coexist, but they are absolutely gorgeous. So today we're gonna be dissecting this, I don't even hate to call it a trend. It's really this style, and I think you're gonna absolutely love it. I literally cannot stop thinking about it. I think it's just so beautiful, it's sophisticated, but it still has that sort of quaintness to it that we all just cannot help but love. So I think you're gonna love it. I cannot wait to chat about this. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's jump into today's video. So when I start to think about cottages, let me know what your first thoughts are. I immediately think of thatched roof. Well, not every cottage has a thatched roof. I mean, trust me, they're super cute if they've got them, but cottages can come in all different styles. Historically, they were located in rural areas. A lot of us associate cottages with the English Tudor style. We think a lot about rural England and just stone cottages, some even with grass growing right on the roof. Oxford Dictionary defines it as a small, simple house, typically one near a lake or beach. Historically, cottages were also built for farmers who were either farming their own land or farming for someone else. So when we think about cottages, a lot of times we also think about the potager, the kitchen garden that has fruits and vegetables growing, and of course, lots and lots of flowers. And we all just kind of have this picture of like smoke coming out of the chimney, and you just want to like squeeze it. It's so cute. But Sears Roebuck did something kind of crazy here in the US. They popularized the cottages so much that people were building them everywhere, not just in rural areas, and definitely not just farmers. They were building them in cities and all over America. They really made the cottage accessible. And that was what was so wonderful, was that suddenly this was something that a lot of people could afford, because the size of the home was also a lot smaller. And that's why so many of us just really love this style. Nowadays, we definitely have cottages in all different locations. And a lot of times the architectural style depends on where they're located. So if you're living in England, you probably have some stone. Maybe even the original stone and that thatch roof. But if you're living in the woods, you've got a cottage that's maybe, you could have a log cabin cottage. So whether you've got a colonial or you've got a Tudor, there's a lot of great options for the exterior of your cottage. And most of the time, these are 1 story or 1.5 stories. So what are the feelings that we usually have about cottages? There's a sort of coziness, there's a sort of hominess attached to them. There's something that just draws you in. It just feels like home. Cottages are definitely all about charm over size. And for me, I know that mine, I would say this is a cottage. I definitely have the front porch. I don't have as much stone on mine, so mine's a little bit more modern looking. But if you saw the ones on my street, a lot of them have stone. They have the gabled roofs. They have the dormer windows. I love the dormer windows. I don't have any on mine. I'm the only one on my street that doesn't have a dormer window. But they're really just, for us, when we came home from being overseas and we drove down our street, it was like, oh, this just has that feeling of home to it. And my neighbors were just so sweet. They're out with their dogs and they were having picnics in the front yard, and everybody like knew each other, and it was like, this is so charming. I want to live here. So I think the word charm is a big deal, and it's one that you're going to want to hold on to even as we move a little bit away from some of the decor styles that are typically associated with the cottage. I'm so excited to take just a moment and thank our video sponsor for today, which is Brooklinen. You guys know we've talked about them for so long. We absolutely love Brooklinen. They have the most amazing sheets. Brooklinen is based out of Brooklyn. If you buy one of their hardcore bundle sheets, it's gonna save you 20% off just straight off the bat. And it's gonna give you everything you need to get your bed ready. This comes with the ultra soft duvet cover. It comes with the fitted and flat sheet, 2 pillowcases, and an extra set of pillowcases. Now, I tend to go for like tone on tone. So you can see I've gone for the warm gray. They've got a lot of seasonal colors out right now and they do sell out quickly. So you might wanna grab them before they're gone. But I went for the warm gray and I love how this color, it just really warms up the bed. I've got a white bed, so I like the contrast of that. I went tone on tone, but you can definitely mix it up. They've got over 20 colors and patterns that you can mix and match with. Now you can choose between the classic or the luxe. I personally have chosen the luxe because these babies are 480 thread count. They have this gorgeous sateen finish that gives it this beautiful, luxurious feel. Really elegant, so wonderful to sleep on. I really believe that when you invest in your sleep, you are really investing in yourself, and your sleep starts with your sheets, okay? It really does. If your sheets are not good, I don't know, for me, if the sheets aren't good, it just wakes me up. I feel like I don't sleep well. So I really love them. I think that they're life altering. It really does change the way that your room feels as well. That little luster really adds a really elegant, refined look to your bedroom. And that's something that I've been focusing on a lot myself this year. I really wanted to give us a really elegant and sophisticated and refined look in our bedroom. You guys have seen us making over the room. We just absolutely love it. And for me, my essential is without a doubt, it is actually the Brooklinen Luxe sheet set. So definitely make sure you do the bundle because that is gonna save you an instant 20%, and that's just gonna get you everything you need anyways. But Brooklinen also has a great coupon code that I get to give you as well, so I can save you some more. So Brooklinen is offering my viewers a special discount of $20 off any order over $100. Just click my link below and use my code Valentina. So the best part is that you can also shop from the comfort of your own home. You can be sitting in your jammies and sitting in your bed thinking, I could do with some new sheets. I know that you'll love them, and I know that they really have changed our life. Yeah, they really have changed our sleep game, and I think they will for you guys as well. So when you want your cottage to be elegant, what are some things you need to avoid? Well, I kind of already alluded to it, and that is definitely kind of the cottage core style. If you want, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike, that's a double negative, we're not allowed to do that. I think the cottage core is actually really appealing. I think it's a style that is not going to fade out. We're gonna keep seeing it. There's just something about the chintz and the pinks and the lavenders and the greens and just cottage core, like exploded everywhere, is actually really, really pretty. I really do think so. But when I think about the kind of cottage that I really want, I really recognized that I really wanted something that felt a little bit more sophisticated and refined. And so you're gonna have to leave that cottage core not completely behind. I'm gonna share with you how you can include some of those elements, but you're gonna be leaving quite a bit of that behind. Let's talk about how we're gonna make the cottage elegant. The paint palette is a pretty big deal. I think that going for warm neutrals, everything from warm chocolate browns, creamy whites, smoky grays, accent colors such as watery blues, lush and sun-drenched greens, and saddle tans. These colors immediately will elevate your space. They'll make them feel a little bit more modern, but also they can be extremely warm and inviting. And I think that's why it's really important to have this color palette. Now you can also do something that I like to do. I wanted to make my cottage actually feel a little bit bigger. A lot of times cottages can feel almost a little bit too confining. Sometimes their windows are a little bit on the small side. So I know a lot of times people will try to put in bigger windows, create a little bit more connection to nature, especially the garden. We'll get to that. Typically, we would go with a lighter, creamier white color, like White Dove from Benjamin Moore. Simply White by Benjamin Moore will give you a look like mine that'll be a lot crisper, but you don't have to go this crisp. You could definitely go for a warmer tone if you want your space to feel a little less modern. Mine's more modern elegance, but you could also go for cozy elegance by warming up the walls. We need to talk about the materials because of course we just said, don't do cottage core, don't do chintz, don't do a bunch of florals. So what are we supposed to do? Well, I think going for velvet, it's a material that I always use when I'm trying to create an elegant interior. I think that velvet is just gorgeous if you want to put it on a pillow, you can put it on the sofa, on a chair, on an ottoman. There's so many different ways to add a little touch of velvet into your home. And it just, oh, and don't forget curtains, that's another great way. And it really just elevates the space. It makes it feel a little bit more sophisticated. I always pair velvet with really nice structured linens and cottons, dense cottons. This is where the style moves away from just, I wouldn't say tattered, but you know what I'm talking about, where there's like the ultra lived in cottage look, where the pillows are permanently messy and the sofa lacks form. When it comes to the elegant look, you want things to feel a little bit more refined. You want them to feel a lot more structured. So whether it's the pillows, it's the sofa, the chairs, you're looking for these materials that will really hold up to use and will stay put. And you can of course just sit on them and live with them. I've got this linen pillow back here is another great example of how this is a pillow. This is just from Amazon. It's really inexpensive, but it's a linen that it can hold up, and it's got a nice little detail on it. These kinds of details make a big difference when you're trying to create a more elegant look. It doesn't mean it has to be more expensive, but structure over something just kind of being kind of worn out or overly mushed, I think it does make a big difference. Let's talk about rugs, because I just absolutely love when it comes to a cottage to think about the rugs. I would think about going for Persian rugs. Don't go for something that's just too tattered. If you want it to feel elegant, you need to have something that looks really pristine. It needs to look sophisticated and just a little bit more elevated. So I was literally just rug shopping. So you can buy these on places like Amazon. It's not that they're gonna be super expensive, but what you're trying to do is avoid things feeling too tattered. Let's talk about art. I love art. It really just makes the space come alive, and it expresses so much of your personality. So when you're creating elegance in a cottage, I think using some abstract artwork can create a sort of sophistication to a space, because it feels like something that came from an art gallery. And I think that we just kind of associate that with elegance. But I know a lot of you are going to want to know, can you use gold gilded frames? I think you can. I think that in this style, you can have abstract artwork, and you could also have oil paintings, you could have watercolors, you can have them black and white photography mixed in with this. I think that this style is really nice because you can kind of blend things together. And so thinking about how the color of the frames work together, I think that's why I've been really enjoying kind of a muted brass color, because that sits so well with the black frames, but also maybe not going for a super high contrast black and white art piece. You might want to go for something that's a little bit more washed out, and then pairing that with a watercolor or an oil painting, a still life, landscapes. All these things pair really nicely together. We cannot talk about cottages without talking about the garden, because the garden is essentially something that we really associate with a cottage, and it's attached to the history, and we a lot of times just love the idea of an English garden. So many people love those winding pathways and just getting lost in them. It's that feeling of maybe like a secret garden. I personally love also a formal garden, especially when you're trying to create a more elegant and refined look with your cottage. So you may want to think about looking to the French for the gardens and getting inspiration from them. Some elements that I think we can include no matter what style we want is definitely that little pea gravel. Oh, I just love the pea gravel. Listening to it underneath your feet is just such a satisfying sound. I feel like I'm immediately transported to Europe, and anytime I'm walking on it, I love it. I think you could use it to create pathways. You could also think about using some stone or brick. I think iron archways and gates are something we definitely also associate with this. And I think having some cut flower sections are really nice. You could do nice boxwood hedges and have a more formal aspect, and then maybe some hydrangea and some softness, and of course, ideally, maybe even an edible garden or kitchen garden, that section where you're really owning that sort of cottagey feel. I just imagine being outside gardening. This is what I'm hoping for. We'll get to it this year, in like a little pair of khaki shorts and a little top and a little, little sun hat. And I'm like, oh, that's the dream. So you can have something that's really elegant, really sophisticated, and yet still has all the things that we love so much about the cottage style. So I've created a few mood boards that I thought would be really fun that I could share with you. I always load my mood boards to my LTK. It's an app, but you can also visit the website if you prefer to use it like on your desktop. I a lot of times get desktop or phone is usually how I access it. And it's really fun because you can open the mood boards and find tons of inspiration for all parts of the house. These were made specifically for the elegant cottage. And if you're interested in buying something from there, the link is there. But I hope that you'll just see it as a resource full of inspiration. For me, it really helps me hone into what I really love and how pieces work really well together. So I hope it's inspired me over the last few days. I've just been on like cloud nine. I'm like, oh my gosh, the elegant cottage. This is the dream. This is the dream. It's just, it's like on another level. It's just so beautiful. It's to me the essence of home. I love it. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. But I'll leave the link to my LTK. I always add in like if my outfits and different things. All that's over there, and I have a lot of fun getting to share that with you. So I hope you'll check that out. But thank you so much for joining me. I got so excited yet again. You can tell I'm so excited about this. I didn't even get my coffee. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing something. I am, my coffee. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I am so pumped about this style. I hope that you'll tell me that you want to hear more and we can talk about it again. Let me know if there's a style that you're really into that you'd love to chat about on this channel. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do, because these are the kinds of videos that we love to make. We go shopping and we show you how we decorate ourselves. We do room makeovers and then talking about the different trends and the different styles. We have a lot of fun here. So I hope you'll love it. Hope you'll hit subscribe and give the video a big thumbs up. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite aspect of the cottage is and what your dream cottage, where would it be located? Let me know that and what style it would be in. All right, thank you so much for joining me. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.